Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Dogbot333, and welcome back. See, everyone's applauding. They know what time it is. It's time for Hearts of Iron 4, the New Order Last Days of Europe. Not Last Days of Europe. Ordem e Progresso as Brazil. Now, last video, we won the war in South Africa, pretty much. Well, not quite won it. We got the ceasefire to fire. The OFN is looking mighty thick right now, and we had a lot to do with helping that. Looks like Goring is doing a little bit too well right now for me to feel comfortable, but we'll just see what happens. It is what it is. I doubt the game will last so long that Goring will be able to cause any problems, and if it does, well, shit. We'll just stand with the OFN. We might be able to do that. I don't know. We'll wait and see. There we go. I think I have a feeling that, it's gonna be Bobby Kennedy, I'm gonna guess, who's gonna win. Because we're doing a lot of focuses to get the progressives upset. Ooh. The UDN coalition has recently released an announcement indicating its full support for candidacy of Governor Carlos Lacerda of Guanabara and the resolve to bring about a mandate for him and the UDN. In a campaign speech at the UDN Party Congress, Carlos Lacerda summarized the major points of his campaign, standing up for the human rights the world over, working with closely allied powers, and bolstering the economy through anti-Varguist market reforms. The Union has shifted its campaign infrastructure to full gear in order to win the election. The crow shall make the Union sword. Lacerda it is. Okay. Our boys have come back. Sverdlovsk versus Omsk. We'll see what happens. Now the AB is winning. That's... Oh! Never mind that shit. Zhdanov, ooh. The upcoming election of the PSD-PTB coalition is faced with a choice between the PSD candidate, Junisenko Kubitschek, a former president, PTB coalition, João Goulart, former vice president, and chairman of Câmara dos Deputados. The major points of Kubitschek's campaign: a steady hand, economic development, and a centrist focus on the implementation of Varguist policy, contrast with the emphasis by Goulart on welfare, social reform, and more social focus in implementing Varguism. The PSD-PTB coalition is all resolved to unify behind one of the candidates, of his left choosing which one to favor this time around. I think I might save just in case. I want to come back. Not a strict possibility, but I think so far we've done a lot of good work with the PSD. Fuck, who do you want to do? Because I think both would be interesting choices, but I say JK led them once, he can probably do it again. I have faith in JK. We've navigated everything well. We can't do much at... There we go. Oh. The Union Coalition has recently released an announcement indicating its full support for candidacy of Governor Ademar de Barros of Sao Paulo, and their resolve to bring about another mandate for him in the UDN. You mean the PSP? In a campaign speech at the PSP party, Ademar de Barros summarized the major points of the campaign: providing welfare and good governance to the people, making government more efficient and better equipped no matter the moral or economic cost, and improving the welfare of the poor. The PSP shifted its campaign infrastructure to full gear in order to win this election. Time to roll out the bribes. I think we'll do improved anti-air. AB versus Samara. I mean, we gotta kind of go with Kubitschek, I think. Well, we don't have to, but I'm more interested in doing that. Got a presidential campaign available. do we... Okay. We can hold rally, invest in campaigning, or build campaign infrastructure. We'll go ahead. We'll build some campaign infrastructure. I'm guessing we're going to have something in the Senado, maybe? I don't know. We'll wait and see, I guess. I really like the music. I gotta listen to more Brazilian jams, I'm realizing. Let's go ahead and police the officers. Let's integrate the civilian police and observers in the armed forces to police the officers. This will further Lot's two goals of fully subordinating the armed forces to the civilian authority, making officers and the armed forces more generally accountable to the Brazilian state. Another campaign decision. Did some, looks like we have the lead so far, actually, which is good to see. Oh, LBJ. That's a little boring. But okay. All the way with LBJ and all that, I guess. Of a Senado. No active elections, so we don't worry about that. Oh no, that's not good. Luis paused to wipe the sweat from his brow, disturbing the coat of dust that had caked there throughout the day. Surveying the segment of gravel that had been his day's work, he gave a tired sigh. Nearly identical gravel patches had stared back at him at the end of every workday over the past 4 months. Finally, the sun was beginning to set. In the distance, he heard the welcome rumble of approaching trucks, signaling the end of yet another long day of road building. In the hours it took to return to camp, Luis's mind wandered far from the cramped truck bed. He fished a small photo of his girlfriend out of his pocket and closed with a locket that had become his only reminder of his life back home. He turned the locket over in his hands, as if after all these weeks he would spot some new detail he hadn't yet noticed. Luis couldn't stop thinking of their last days together. She'd argued fiercely when he told her he was taking the job, disparaging the highway as Lot's folly. She'd always been smarter than them, more political. No matter the politics, no matter the argument, they needed the pay. Luis resolved to call her tonight, check how her mother was doing. Maybe. As a truck clattered to a stop just beyond the Belo Monte sign, Luis noticed a small crowd had gathered next to another of the trucks. His heart sank when he saw that a body, horribly disfigured, was being lifted out of the bed. He pushed through the small crowd to have a closer look and soon learned from the chatter the corpse was one of the tree choppers. Or, used to be one of the tree choppers. A jaguar had ambushed him away from his team. He never stood a chance. Luis couldn't bear to keep looking. He pushed through the crowd and made for the mess hall. He had decided to make that phone call. At times like these, Luis was thankful he was one of the road crew. The mosquitoes and natives were already enough to worry about. Only 2,000 kilometers to go. Well, that's not very nice. How's the progress coming along on it, then? It's still coming along, actually. It's not too bad. So it's partially industrialized, too. These two are utterly industrialized. Next, we'll just work on the south, then. I guess we got a good thing going. Let's go PSD again. Holy shit, that's a very... These elections are fucking insane. Holy shit. Oh crap! Well, we're gonna have to make sure that we end up supporting the right guy through it all. Ow. Let's go ahead and campaign over here. The shield broken, and well, I guess they'll kill each other now. Jolly old Jellicoe. Cheers, cheers. Alright. Let's work with Kubitschek once again. Lacerda is picking up a little bit. Oh, there's little arrows that indicate how well they're doing. Interesting. We'll work on the southeast because that's where Rio is. We got Sao Paulo. A couple more of the bigger cities as well. That'll be a good one to get some support. Partially industrialized, lightly developed. We'll go ahead. Let's get the mechanization rate up. I think that'll be very important to do. Boosting the officers a little bit. Maybe some resources extraction, and then from here, how are we doing doctrine-wise? We don't have anything. Let's get working on doctrines. Why not? Senate campaign is good to go. I think we're going to do here, right? And we'll save over here to go to Santa Catarina. Man, Brazilian elections are nuts. They have fucking everyone running. Ooh, right! The Presidente. We'll get our support up even more. And then I think eventually we'll move away from the southeast. I think the central west is going to be a very good spot. In fact, we really need to work on the central west. Police v. officers. Now let's promote some constitutionalists. Constitutionalists are the faction of the army that is loyal to President Lott and his ideals of constitutionalism and democracy. Promoting them will increase their influence at the expense of the hardliners in Sobrone, thereby increasing the prevalence of constitutionalist thought and ideals in the army. I'll take that. Yeah, we already got a fair bit of constitutional support. Is there anywhere I can... Oh crap, there are 2 elections going on, okay. Okay, yeah. That explains why there's so much going on. Let's campaign. Let's do some slander against Jose over here. As for the Presidente. There we go. Ooh. Let's go ahead and hold a rally here in the Central West. I gotta say, I like how the little dots are filled out on the highway. That is really cool. I really enjoy that. That's a nice touch. How's our economy doing? It's not the worst, actually. Little campaign over here. Try to get the 2 seats secured. I might just go for one seat there. Wouldn't be the worst. Over here. Let's see, what do we want to do in Mato Grosso? Not going to do conservative, or at least one of the conservatives out. That would be good. How are we doing over here? We could get a campaign over here, I think. Oh, we can do a presidential campaign, of course. Oh, what is happening? We're still winning, but it's a little confusing. Central West. It's very narrow in a couple of these states. Luckily, we have solid leads elsewhere that are helping balance the scales, I think. Senate campaign available. Let's get our boy Rui. And then from here, let's get the Lot Act through. The Lot Act is the last stage of President Lot's Operation Toucan. Like the Hatch Act passed by the U.S. Congress, it forces political neutrality in the armed forces by, among other things, outlawing any military interference in governance. After this goes through, Lot will finally be able to see the completion of his dream of kicking out the armed forces and protecting democracy in the Republic of Brazil. Unless some damn fools manage to destroy his hard work later on. Ooh. We'll need some political power. I know I'm cheating, I'm sorry. We could try to negotiate. Okay. We got 35 days. If it passes, we get a little 1% extra political power. Oops. Vote is active. It's actually a lot closer than I figured it would be. Not so much anymore. Lot wasn't particularly a talkative person. A man pragmatic to the extreme, that let his actions and expressions speak what 1,000 other words couldn't. In short, anything unlike almost any other politician in the country. And yet, as Denise stared at Lot, his expression utterly unreadable, he wished he would speak something. Anything, really. Because the silence in the room was getting to a suffocating level. Thankfully, before Denise would say anything or try to pry any word from the man, Lot broke the tense silence, all but tapping the fold Denise brought with him. And you're saying your men are talking about mutiny, yes. Your act is having the people in headquarters anxious, Lot. You can't deny it. Good. I want them to squirm in their boots. Lot couldn't help but frown, his brow furrowing as he stares at Lot, adjusting his tie. Lot, we've both been on the cadet school. You need to listen to me. I know the generals can get uppity about the state and things, but this is openly antagonizing the army. We're not the bloody enemies of the state. We're here to... Spare me the talk, Denise. I've done my vow to the flag, too. 2, in fact. Lot emphasized, pointing to a single bevel on his chest, the badge of the Brazilian Republic. I'm not backing down, Denise. They need to know their place. Denise's eyes can't help but twitch, the incredulity and irony of a statement not being lost on him. Before he sighs, giving a simple shrug. Can't say I didn't try, Lot. Very well, you're dismissed. As Denise saluted and left the room, the brother-in-law collapsed, the man reclining on his chair with a heavy sigh and heavy heart, looking in his door as his friend left. He gets it, he does, but he simply can't allow something like what could have happened. He was a military man, after all. He knows the last thing Brazil needs is more power in the army's hands. My heart and actions are utterly unclouded. Borman has won. The Senate is active right now. We could rally the PSD if we get... When Enrique Lott proposed a plan to force the Brazilian armed forces out of politics, Tancredo Neves, João Goulart, and Juscelino Kubitschek had all pledged for support. Though that wasn't sufficient to sway the most orthodox members of Vargas' coalition, it was on infinite less use as regarded the UDN and its assorted conservative hanger-ons. At this point, the conservative Johnny Quadros, with whom Lott had managed to build a good relationship with, became of great use. It helped that he was just as aware as Lott was at the prospect of a coup. Lott tried and failed to get anything more than basic expressions of consideration from these people, and that was if he was lucky. Some outright starts being propagandistic talking points of the sort that would not be out of place in Costa y Silva's mouth. Others, on the other hand, said that they were sympathetic, but then started to repeat concerns that the Slayer had raised in the various newspapers he owned and controlled. So at this point, Lott realized that the Crow was likely working against him, probably because he hoped the military might help him take power someday. There was nothing to be gained from Lott attempting to persuade them himself, so he sent his vice president in and waited for results. Said vice president barged into the office of Palacio de Planalto in 2 hours flat, bearing expressions of support from no small number of deputies and senators. Among these were numbered people who had even outright rebuffed Lott when he was asked about it. Lott was impressed. Perhaps he'd underestimated his eccentric second-in-command. As he expressed his gratitude and listened to Quadros' expression of pride in return, one sentence went through his head, which he promptly vocalized to Quadros' glee and happiness. Johnny-O, you magnificent bastard. So, that didn't give us any extra votes, it seems. It's a little confusing. I think we're gonna do something over here? Maybe, I forget. There's a 19 and a 22. PTN, UDN. Not too worried about that over there. Slaughter Oscar Pasos in Acre. We'll do a little bit of political power. Wait a little bit. Presidential campaign available. I think we'll go ahead and hold a rally in the northeast. Battle of Barcelona. And I hope we'll probably get enough political power. A number of army units have mobilized in opposition to the hearing of the Lott Act. Elements of the Planalto military command have surrounded federal buildings in the Gorilana and Anápolis, are threatening to attack Brasilia if the Lott Act is not immediately withdrawn. The Senado Federal has been put into lockdown, directed to reopen only when the conflict is settled. The fate of Brazil's precarious democracy now lies with President Lott, whose response to the terrified citizens of Brasilia call for. I call bullshit. We'll never cease in our defense of the Republic. I think I will. No matter what it takes. What, has voting already started? What? Can we not flip anymore? Okay, shit. There we go. Oh shit, we didn't even have to do that. Lott's not a man that praises himself, but even he can't help but give a smug grin and throw his newspaper at the table. Where Neves lay on the other side, a smile as mutely yet beaming as his. Well, not a drinker, even he couldn't help but share the joyous news, and a bit of a morning Linguiça cachaça. Never hurts anyone, especially when mixed with orange juice. I trust you've seen the news too? With their tail beneath their legs, I'll talk unless someone puts their foot down. Well, the two men have celebrated their successful standoff. At the barracks of Brasilia, the situation could be more different. As if the officers argued and pointed at each other for possible failings. Was it the lack of enough bodies in the Senado? Did they come across as too weak, too strong? They certainly didn't recruit enough. If they couldn't, the fear of God on that bastard stubborn lot's head. Something they did wrong, and they couldn't figure it out. And so in this dichotomy, the event is delegated of dustbin of history. They are all those of justice. There we go! Shit, I didn't even need to do anything. In fact, it looks like I can still negotiate. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so I just needed to wait a second. Got partial industrialization. Still get working on the increased mechanization. That'll be good. A brainchild of a magnate of journalism, Roberto Moreno, owner of a Globo newspaper and Globo Radio, the TV Globo goes on air in Rio and most of the capitals nationwide. Having been granted a concession to use Channel 4 back in 1962, the Rede Globo starts operations with a combination of national and foreign content, such as American TV series like Get Smart and The Twilight Zone, as well as Brazilian soap operas such as O Abreu and O Rei dos Ciganos. Roberto Moreno, a known right-winger of high prestige, brings with his channel the promise of shows that follow the global standard of quality and that can greatly outshine everything that's been seen on Brazilian television before. Results of the first week of airing, however, left Globo very far behind other TV channels such as TV Excelsior, resulting on the hiring of American-educated Walter Clark Bueno as an advisor to improve the reach of Globo's audience. Some left-wing and Vargas media outlets criticize Globo for being elitist to an extreme, and to promote right-wing propaganda with their programmation. Critics that were dismissed by Globo as envy of the defeated. Boa noite. Well, so much for that. Okay. It's interesting, the momentum seems to be changing pretty well in our favor. You can only do a... I think we'll go ahead and slander Senor Milton. Applause could be heard throughout the National Congress building today as Brazilian senators have passed the Law Act. This act, aiming to curtail the influence of the military in everyday politics and affairs, was able to garner enough support to pass despite veiled attempts by the military to sabotage the attack. Ever since the Estado Novo days, Brazil's military has had a disproportionate amount of influence in its politics, and candidates would find themselves more worried about the military rather than the issues of a day in re-election. President Lott, a military man himself, has pushed for significant reforms to the officer corps of the Army, Navy, and Air Force by installing constitutionalist allies in place of hardliner members. The constitutionalists, as their name suggests, look to reduce the role of Brazil's military in political affairs, focusing purely on the defense of Brazil. In recent days, President Lott and the constitutionalists have slowly relegated hardliner officers to relevant positions, or encouraging them to take early retirement from the military. With the constitutionalist majority in the military, the hope is that they will abstain from intervening in future political elections. Promote a democratic transfer of power. While some of the military are not enthusiastic about the various reforms that are in the Law Act, there's now little they can do to change the law in their current position, a necessary step to protect the peaceful transfer of power. There we go. Well, with that, let's celebrate the passing. President Lula of Brazil can rest easy now, for the law has passed through the Senado. Despite the military's feeble attempts to kill the act, their meddling was not enough to stop the passage of a landmark piece of legislation. While the act does plenty to curtail the military's influence in our democratic system, there are still finishing touches that must be put into place to ensure that Brazil's democracy will never be threatened again. Namely, we must address the increasing anger from the military itself and offer our assurances that we will not take additional direct action against them. Furthermore, we must also close any loopholes that are present within the Law Act to ensure Brazil will remain a free republic forever. For now, though, we must celebrate the passage of the Act and the successful defense of our democracy. Very nice. Oh my god, look at that! Oh. Military's loyal, they're corrupt, but there are corrupt bastards. We'll probably slander Milton again. Oh, he's running for both seats. He's trying to pull ahead. Motherfucker's trying to get 2 votes. And I don't know what else. There's not too much else to do other than, we'll take pride in what we've done already. So we're doing a damn good job, I say. Probably campaign in the South next. Celebrate the passing. Getting some pretty solid gains overall. I'm not too worried about over there. Operation Tucson, its linchpin, the Law Act, was a plan to remove once and for all the threat of untoward military intervention in our Brazilian democratic order. It aimed to depoliticize the armed forces and teach soldiers, airmen, and sailors to understand once and for all that they are merely citizens in uniform. Nothing more and nothing less. And it had succeeded. Thank God. Hell, thank his mother, too. It has succeeded. Brazil was free from military threats. President Lula celebrated the success of his passion project by drinking some champagne in the presence of prominent constitutionalists in the Brazilian military, many of whom were flushed with joy and hope, as well they might be. Lula made a small speech. We have managed, ladies and gentlemen, to ensure that the Brazilian military is first and foremost a defender of democracy. We've at last succeeded in showing Costa y Silva never leaves their place. Gentlemen, I congratulate you and salute your efforts. A few cheers and a wave of applause ensued. But amidst all this, Marshal Odilio Diniz did not join in the enthusiasm. His expression was oddly neutral, given the happiness surrounding him. But Lot did not notice him. There was no need to bother, he felt. Today was a time for celebration. A weight lifted off Lot's shoulders. We're doing well there already. I don't think we have much of a chance there. We can go ahead and work in Espirito Santo coming up. Let's go ahead and cool the tensions right now. To the surprise of no one, the military has been in vocal opposition to Law since the day was announced. However, we cannot afford to have our armed forces continually feel as if they are antagonized by the government. We should work to reestablish trust and goodwill with them. It may be a tough sell to convince the military, but it's better that we try to convince a few folks. Talks will be set up with senior officers across the branches of the military. A few token promises will be handed out to ensure that the military does not continue to feel as if we are targeting them. Even if we are, we cannot anger the military so soon. It's necessary for us to de-escalate the situation, lest they feel compelled to attempt a coup of our government. Presidential campaign available. We could probably do some propaganda, I'm thinking. some of these places. I'm realizing that's probably why they're getting a bit of a boost. How about the Senate? We'll take a seat here. Might slander that guy, make sure we're good. I think we're gonna focus on over here first. Well, actually, we'll gain a seat there, so let's not worry about that. We might lose a seat here, but I think we're just gonna lose that seat. Amazonas, perhaps? Let's focus over here. Piaui. Pakistan is independent. Campaign over here, can pick up a seat. I think we'll do the same over here. Rio Grande do Norte. Germany restores control over Central Europe. Not the biggest surprise. Germans will keep German. Not quite sure what that means either. I just know I said it. Let's get momentum increased. Oh shit, Lacerda's winning. A little bit. How's he doing so well in the south? I blame propaganda. Huh. Well, let's cement legalism. The military is not some special entity that can pick and choose which laws it wants to obey or disobey, especially regarding our democracy. While the Law Act removes any legal avenues for the military to skirt around our Constitution, the attitude of subverting our democracy runs deep throughout the military. We must educate the armed forces and instill a strong emphasis on legalism in the ranks in order to ensure that the Republic never falls under threat from within itself. Our constitutionalist allies already believe in the importance of legalism, and they will serve as important educators and allies for us, replace the negative attitude that the military has towards Brazil's politics. To ensure that the sentiment will never reappear, we will continue to promote to preserving constitutionalist officers to senior positions to strengthen our support in the military. And Senado. And then we can do another campaign for this guy, I think. And do okay. Shit, now we're almost in third place. Jesus. We're falling apart over here. Damn. Oh, got some new divisions, it seems. Welcome, men. Development edict available. We'll go ahead and do partially industrialized. Got a lot of partial and moderate. Let's get the southeast up to a new level. Huh. I don't know what Lacerda's doing, but he's doing something. Might have to re-roll a little bit. We'll go ahead and implement some failsafes. It's always prudent to prepare for the worst-case scenario. Lot is still worried about potential coup from hardliners with covert support from UDN and PSP in the future. In order to counter this, plans will need to be drawn to detail the preparations or procedures should the government or our allies in the military ever suspect a potential coup. These plans will be reviewed by the constitutionalist generals in order to ensure that at least parts of the military will continue to stay loyal, and governors of key provinces will be briefed to ensure the continuation of Brazil's democracy is set in stone. While some believe that this action to be overly cautious, Lot believes that there is no price too high to pay for democracy to survive. There we go. We got these two states and these two seats locked up now. I think we'll go with Sergipe next. The Tusca's won. Interesting. If they keep, If DeBarros keeps taking, Lacerda's main support, we can probably get a little turnaround. Hang on with Central East, West, and the Southeast. Let these two fight it out. Focus on the Central West. That was a huge boost. Okay. Victory to the DC. There we go. There we go. Got those two seats locked up. This guy's doing pretty good. I have faith in him. I don't want to do too much here. We'll have coalition partners who win there. Anywhere else? Maybe focus on there for now. For the somewhat immediate future. I mean, the nepotism isn't good. The military is corrupt. But then again, so is a lot of things in Brazilian life, really. So that's not the... The Lot Act having succeeded, it was now time to put fail-safes in place, lest the military find a way of wriggling around the proposals and attempt to play politician again. To that end, President Enrique Teixeira Lot met with an old friend of his, 4-star General Perry Constant Belequiva to discuss putting the said precautions in place. In discussions with Belequiva and other officers in the constitutional faction, Lot created various plans and stratagems whereby the hardliners and their bastard leader Costa y Silva would be kept as far from the lovers of power as possible. The potential threat posed by ambitious hardliners in the old and young guard of the armed forces was analyzed from countless different angles, and methods to keep them down and out were hammered. Lot ended the meeting by reminding the officers that democracy needed eternal vigilance to survive. If constitutionalist vigilance failed, that would likely mean ruin for the constitutionalists and their families, to say nothing of the armed forces and Brazil itself. The officers nodded and resolved to follow Lot and Belequiva's guidance. Let's go ahead. Invest in campaigning. I'm curious. Can we do... That's not for that. That does nothing there. Okay. It was worth a shot. I was just curious. I might just have to re-roll it. I don't mind re-rolling it. I might just go back into save and then we'll go from there. But yeah, that's it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as always for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content, be sure to hit the sub button for more uploads every weekday, as well as every Saturday. Well, not every. Occasionally Saturdays. If you have any comments, feedback, concern, anything sort, leave in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get and appreciate any all feedback you might have for me. If you want to chat, play games, anything sort, check out my Discord, down link below. If you want to send a few bucks my way every month, Patreon. If you want to see me do social life, I have a Twitch. All put down in the description box below. That's really it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you always for watching. My name has been Dogboat333. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.